Okay, in this section, we're going to start talking about factoring and the zero product property. So in our last section, you actually multiplied factors. So factored form looks like this, where you have two binomials being multiplied together. So remember, when we multiply numbers, when we break apart those multiples, they're called factors. So this is called a factor, and this is called a factor. And together we call this factored form of a polynomial. Okay, so when we set factors equal to 0, then we can solve. So we have this thing called the zero product property, and it just says if two things are multiplied together, so if A times B equals 0, then one of them has to be 0, because to get 0 when you multiply by 0. So if we just take an example with our factors, let's take this one we were doing. If we set this equal to 0, then using this property, we're saying that either x minus 8 equals 0, or x plus 4 equals 0. And then to get those x values, you would solve. So I'm going to go write this down. So step 1, you set each factor, so you have to remember what a factor is, equal to 0. And then step 2 was what I was just starting. Then you solve each equation. So for this one, x minus 8 equals 0, if I were to solve this, I would add 8 to both sides. So x equals 0 plus 8, which is 8. And then for this equation, I would minus 4 on both sides. So x equals 0 minus 4, which is negative 4. So this would be my solution. We're going to start having 2 or 3 solutions depending on how many factors there are. So when we solve the equation, just so you remember, what we're solving for, our answer is the solution, which are the x-intercepts on a graph. So when we do graph these in quarter 2, this is how we're going to get the x-intercepts so we can graph it.